The Vril Society occupies a curious position in the landscape of 20th-century fringe history. Part occult legend, part conspiracy theory, and part historical footnote, this alleged German secret society has captivated the imagination of many, despite scant evidence for its actual existence. The concept of Vril, a mysterious form of energy, and the society purportedly formed around it, represents a fascinating case study in how esoteric ideas can evolve and transform across decades, particularly during periods of social and political upheaval. The story of the Vril Society begins not in Germany, but in Victorian England, with the 1871 publication of The Coming Race, a science fiction novel written by Edward Bulwer Lytton. This novel, which proved highly influential despite being largely forgotten by modern literary critics, presented a richly detailed subterranean world inhabited by an advanced race called the Vrilya. These beings had mastered a force called Vril, described as a unified energy field that could be manipulated by those trained in its use. Through Vril, the novel's underground civilization could power their society, heal injuries, influence minds, and destroy enemies, essentially wielding godlike powers through what appeared to be a scientific rather than magical means. Bulwer Lytton's novel explored themes that resonated deeply with Victorian anxieties and fascinations. The Vrilya represented both utopian ideals and fears of replacement or obsolescence. Their society was portrayed as peaceful and advanced, having moved beyond war and poverty, yet also inherently superior to surface humans in ways that suggested eventual conquest would be inevitable. The novel included detailed descriptions of Vril-powered technologies, including flying devices with remarkable similarities to later conceptions of flying saucers or UFOs. These mechanical wings or platforms allowed the Vrilya to navigate their cavernous realm and were controlled through concentration and mastery of the Vril force. The novel's framing device, presenting itself as the testimony of a surface dweller who discovered this underground civilization, gave it a sense of plausibility that likely contributed to its conceptual absorption into actual occult thinking. Notably, Bulwer Lytton himself was not merely a novelist, but had connections to various esoteric movements of his time, including Rosicrucianism and other mystical orders. This blending of fiction with genuine esoteric interests created fertile ground for the later transformation of Vril, from fictional device to occult concept. The transformation of Vril from literary device to esoteric concept was facilitated in part by the Theosophical Society, founded by Helena Blavatsky in 1875. Theosophy drew from various religious and occult traditions to create a synthesized spiritual philosophy. Blavatsky discussed the concept of Vril in her writings, treating it as an actual force rather than fiction, and connecting it to the Sanskrit concept of akasha, or prana, universal energy. She suggested that ancient civilizations had possessed this knowledge, but that it had been largely lost to modern humanity. This reframing of Vril as an actual mystical force rather than a literary invention helped establish it within esoteric circles. By the early 20th century, various occult groups in Europe had incorporated the concept of Vril, or similar ideas about cosmic energy, into their beliefs. The concept found particularly fertile ground in early 20th century Germany, where interest in the occult had surged following World War I. The devastating defeat led many Germans to search for meaning and alternative worldviews, resulting in a flourishing of esoteric and Völkisch movements. The actual historical evidence for an organized Vril society is extremely limited. Most modern scholars consider it largely mythical, or, at best, a small, informal group rather than an established organization. The Vril Society, a genuine German occult group founded in 1918, has often been connected to Vril lore. While the Vril Society was real and did have connections to early National Socialism, there is little contemporary evidence linking it to Vril concepts specifically. Nevertheless, the documented existence of the Vril Society provided a historical foundation upon which later Vril myths could be constructed. Some accounts mention a group of female mediums called the Vril Ladies or Vril Maidens, who allegedly channeled communications from extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings in the 1920s. These women purportedly wore their hair in unusual ways to act as psychic antennas for receiving these transmissions. According to these narratives, the communications often contained technical information for the construction of advanced machinery, particularly anti-gravitational devices and circular aircraft that strongly resemble modern conceptions of flying saucers. At the center of many modern Vril Society narratives is Maria Orsic, described as a medium who supposedly channeled technical information from advanced civilizations. According to these accounts, Orsic and her circle received instructions for building advanced technologies from beings living in the Alpha Centauri star system. The communications were said to be in an ancient Sumerian-derived language that Orsic allegedly translated. These channeled messages supposedly contained detailed technical blueprints for circular aircraft powered by Vril energy. These craft, often called Jenseitsflugmaschinen, otherworld flying machines, or Vril Odin, were described as capable of extraordinary maneuvers, including rapid acceleration, sudden direction changes, and possibly even interdimensional travel. However, contemporary historical evidence for Orsic's existence is notably lacking, suggesting she may be a later invention or embellishment. The claimed UFO technology of the Vril Society has become one of its most enduring and elaborate aspects. According to the mythology that developed primarily after World War II, the Vril Society managed to construct several prototype flying discs through a combination of channeled extraterrestrial information and their understanding of Vril energy. These craft allegedly evolved through various models, beginning with relatively crude designs in the 1920s and advancing to sophisticated interplanetary or interdimensional vehicles by the 1940s. The descriptions of these supposed Vril craft bear striking similarities to common UFO reports from the post-war period. Disc-shaped objects with the ability to hover silently, accelerate at impossible speeds, and make right-angle turns that would destroy conventional aircraft. Some accounts claim these vehicles were powered by counter-rotating electromagnetic fields that somehow harnessed the Vril force to create anti-gravity effects. Technical details in these stories often blend genuine physics terminology with pseudoscientific concepts in ways that sound plausible to those without specialized scientific knowledge. These narratives gained momentum during the Cold War, particularly in the 1960s and 1970s with publications like Louis Pauwels and Jacques Bergier's The Morning of the Magicians, which suggested connections between Nazi ideology and occultism, Wilhelm Landig's novels, which incorporated themes of Nazi occultism and hidden technology, and Ernst Zündel's UFOs, Nazi Secret Weapon, which explicitly linked German wartime aviation projects to Vril concepts. According to the more elaborate versions of the Vril UFO mythology, the culmination of the Society's work was the Vril 7 craft, allegedly capable of interplanetary travel. The mythology claims that as Germany faced defeat in the final days of World War II, the Vril Society used these advanced craft to escape to either a base in Antarctica, connected to persistent myths about New Swabia and Nazi Antarctic expeditions, or even to establish colonies on Mars or other planets. Maria Orsic and the core Vril mediums are said to have disappeared mysteriously in March 1945, leaving only a message that translates to, "None are staying here." This elaborate mythology connects to other post-war conspiracy theories, including claims about Base 211 in Antarctica, the supposed Nazi UFO base called New Berlin, and the alleged Dark Fleet of Nazi spacecraft that continued to operate after the war. These narratives provide a pseudo-historical framework that attempts to explain both the advanced aeronautical research conducted by Nazi Germany, which did include some experimental disc-shaped aircraft designs, and the surge in UFO sightings reported after 1947. It's important to note that while Nazi Germany did pursue advanced weapons programs, and some Nazi leaders, particularly Heinrich Himmler, had interest in occult matters, the historical evidence does not support the existence of a Vril-powered Nazi flying saucer program or formal collaboration with a Vril Society. Germany did develop some advanced technologies during World War II, including the V-1 and V-2 rockets, jet aircraft, and various experimental weapons, but nothing resembling the anti-gravity craft described in Vril mythology has ever been substantiated with credible evidence. The UFO aspects of the Vril mythology likely represent a post-war conflation of genuine Nazi technical research with the emerging flying saucer phenomenon of the late 1940s and 1950s. This conflation served multiple narrative purposes. It provided an explanation for mysterious aerial sightings, suggested a continuation of the Nazi threat that resonated during Cold War anxieties, and offered a technological framework for understanding apparently impossible aircraft maneuvers through the concept of an unknown energy source, Vril. Despite lacking solid historical foundation, the Vril Society concept has shown remarkable staying power in popular culture, conspiracy theories, and fringe history. The concept of secret Vril technology has been used to explain various historical mysteries, from Nazi Germany's initially rapid military successes to unexplained aerial phenomena. Elements of Vril concepts have been incorporated into various New Age spiritual frameworks, particularly those focused on free energy or higher consciousness. In these contexts, Vril is often reframed as a positive spiritual force rather than being associated with Nazi occultism.